Hello again, everybody. I'm back, News 6 meteorologist David Nazario in the Digital Weather Center with a tropical weather outlook for the month of August. Staring us in the face, today is July 31st, 2025, and I feel like the month has been an absolute blur. I was gone for a good chunk of it, serving with the United States Navy with the Fleet Weather Center up in Virginia, alongside taking care of a few other personal endeavors, but now I'm back, and it looks like in the nick of time. Myself and my teammates here in the Weather Center of News 6 have been looking at a number of different signals that suggest August could be slightly busier, if not full on busier, than what we've seen up to this point in the hurricane season. So I'm going to walk you through all of that in this update video. It will be a little long winded, so hang with me. I'm going to get you all the latest information. And with that being said, let's get you over to some graphics. Here is our tropical satellite. And I'll go ahead and take us full screen as well so we can do some doodling together. I want to show you a couple things. Center screen, we have a tropical wave that probably gave you a little bit of hubbub on your social medias, whether it be Instagram, the good old TikTok, X, the old Twitter, wherever it is you get your weather information when you're not tuning into us here at News 6. This was initially forecasted before making its way through a somewhat hostile Atlantic. Conditions are just not right now. They haven't gotten their act together just yet. And it was going to try to make a run for the Turks and Caicos, the Bahamas, and then maybe end up somewhere off the southeast United States coast. Well, thankfully, that has changed. You can see it's looking fairly barren out there. The dry air and the westerly wind shear that's buffeting it in the face is helping to remove a lot of the shower and thunderstorm activity with it. And as a result, we're left with what we would consider a naked wave. Not trying to be funny. That's truly what we're calling it. But then if you look back behind that, look at this monstrosity getting ready to splash down off of Africa. That's a sign of what's to come. And in my article today, I mentioned that this first one here, the first wave, I'll go ahead and draw number one, may have been a bit more sacrificial. Moving through the Atlantic basin, it's going to help to increase a little bit of that relative humidity, bring about some more moisture, get rid of that dry, dusty air. The Saharan air layer, believe it or not, as of now, ever since the first couple plumes, has been trending more and more below average for this time of year. And as we get ready to turn the page of the calendar into August, this is about the time where we start to see the outbreaks really begin to subside. And because of that, if you take a look at our tropical probabilities, we're already starting to track a couple of increasing signals. Let's take you through time. Off the mid-Atlantic coast, models are getting a little interesting with the cold front and the upper trough that's going to be working its way through us here this weekend, finally giving way from all this brutal heat we've been battling for the last 7 and some change days here in Central Florida. And then beyond that, if you turn your attention out to the greater Atlantic, notice we're starting to get a bit of an uptick, as we like to say, in some of our tropical probabilities with these upcoming waves moving westward through the main development region of the Atlantic. And for those of you unfamiliar, the main development region runs right in through here. Some will say it will extend through the eastern and central Caribbean because we do typically see some good tropical development out there. But for all intents and purposes, from the Lesser Antilles of the Eastern Caribbean off the west coast of Africa, that is your main development region, the MDR, and that's what's going to continue to improve as we go through time. Let's get you to a couple different websites I want to show you. So first off, where you see the shades of red here, it's showing higher than normal pressures, meaning we have a lot of sinking. The air is suppressed. It's kind of sandwiched close to ground level. And where you see those vibrant shades of red right through that MDR I just talked you through, that's not good for tropical action. It's what's been keeping everything banded down, everything dammed up. As they come off of Africa, things pretty much dissipate and fade out without a whimper. As you go through time, though, we're going to get something called the MJO. Head over to clickorlando.com. I've written up some pretty decent articles on that alongside some of my other teammates. We have a lot of information to help get you up to speed on what the Madden-Julian Oscillation is. As we go through the couple first days of August, notice what happens with those shades of red. First, the western Atlantic gives way to some blue. Those are lower than average pressures, usually indicating lift, a little bit more moisture in the air. And then look in the tropics, the deep tropics off the coast of Africa, right about here. For 7 to 10 days are up, and now we're finally seeing a huge shift. Higher than normal pressures are back up to the north, and over the south, we're starting to see the lowering pressures, meaning we're seeing an increase in that vertical velocity. Here's a look at your 850 millibar, 5,000 foot spin. It's called vorticity, but in the simplest of ways, this is where you find spin and energy in the atmosphere. And if you look where we're watching, we have one wave there, one wave here, and then this is going to be our Hardy feature right there, moving west, closer and closer to splashdown off the west coast of Africa. And once that hits open water, that's when things could get a little interesting. You take a look at this. This is called a Hofmahler diagram. You don't really need to know too much outside of the blues mean lift. The reds and the orange means sinking. And right now we're underneath the oranges and the reds, but if you look closely there, we're going to start to shift gears into the teals and the blues as we go into the month of August. On the left-hand side, your y-axis, this is the date and time, the 2nd of August, the 4th, the 6th, and so on. And then down at the bottom here, it's as if you took a globe of the Earth, chopped it in half, and rolled it out like a map on a flat surface. And you can kind of take a look at where your colors line up with the line of longitude through the tropics. This is a huge signal here, I'll tell you the truth. That's called a standing wave. The MJO comes across, sits over top of Africa, and helps to kind of invigorate the environment. It creates a lot of good lift, brings some healthy tropical waves into the Atlantic, and then with a little bit of a nudge of the Madden-Julian oscillation over the Atlantic itself, that could definitely help to open up a bit of the gates for more favorable conditions to come. Now, we're not tracking any guarantee of a named storm or anything coming close to Florida, but the steering patterns out there, which I'll show you, and that's how we'll kind of wrap up this video. I know it was a little long. Thanks for hanging with me. But the steering patterns are what have me a little on the concerned side. Now, there's no storms out there, so don't go looking at the arrows thinking something's coming right for us. But because we've had such dominant high pressure out there, anything, a wave, a disturbance, a storm, anything out in the tropics is going to have nowhere else to go besides west. So definitely stick with your News 6 weather team as we rock into the peak of the hurricane season together. We're going to keep you updated every step of the way.